Yeah. Oh boy, we're back. We're back at it again, people. We are back at it again to give you the most for your time and money. We have live entertainment with gruesome ghoulies. Like my little buddy here, I forgot his name. It changes from review to review, but we'll put him up here for now. And there's me, once known as Ray Pissed. That was my stage name. Ray, because my name's Ray. Pissed, because I was always pissed off. But you put Ray Pissed together and you got a Ray Pissed. But that's black metal band names for you with a little dark humor, like the kind of black metal guy I was. But now that I'm born again, born anew, notice the crucifix right there, just making it well known, and it's right here too, kids. Now I'm known as Razor Wrecker. For no apparent reason, no particular reason. I just rushed a name together because I was putting the page together and I had to have a name. So there it is, Razor Wrecker. Nobody could get offended by that one, I don't think. Not that I'm worried about offending people, because boy, I go out of my way to offend people, especially, if they're of the leftist persuasion, as you know. And if you're already turned off by that, then bye-bye. Bye-bye. See ya. But if for the brave, for the conservative, for the common sense minded, I welcome you all to my review of Ozzy McOsbourne's Patient Number 9. Yeah, we are going to review this fine release. Oh, it just came out recently. I know I'm not quick on the draw when it comes to getting those reviews out when the release is hot off the press, because now it's been a few weeks. I've already gotten a good listen. But that way I can give you a more thorough review, because I've had weeks to really sit with this album and tell you what I think of it. Now, right here it says it rocks, so I gave away the goose, kid, because the gander needed a goose, and I figured, well, that's a good enough goose to give to the gander. But if you're giving a good gander to this video, you'll also know that it is good. It has its moments, and it also has its weaknesses, and we'll get into that. But we're going to keep it short because we got that, plus Lacrimosa Profunde, or Profundier. I think it's Profunde. It's a French word. And I've been into these guys since the late 90s. Been following them ever since. I feel like old friends of mine. Goth metal, popish goth metal. Sometimes more popish. And their last two releases, they're more metal. But that's how it goes. So we're going to put our little buddy aside. Down there! He gets a little excited. He wants to steal the show, but not this time, kids. We got to keep on point. Tonight's beer is Carlsberg from Finland, I believe. Boy, do I know my beers. No. What's that? The Danes make this one. Danish. My mistake. But it wasn't my mistake to purchase it, kids, because it's none of that Budweiser, Coors bullshit. So, let's get into it. What we got here is Ozzy's new album. Now, this came out like 2 years. In 2020, Ozzy came out with his first album in 10 years, since Scream came out in 2010, which was, I had high hopes for, but he had this new guitarist he never had on a prior or a later album for all the leads. And I think it was from Dragon Force or something. And no, he wasn't right for the album. I was expecting, oh, great, it's not Zakk Wylde. He's a fellow Jersey guy. He's a piney. But I just couldn't, roll with him. He always had a little too much country twang to his style. And I never liked his solo projects. Although finally, recently, he's gotten so Sabbathy with his solo project. I kind of like his sound. His solo sound. But Um, so then Ozzy came out with Ordinary Man in 2020, right after one of my close friends from New Jersey passed away from cancer, uh, and he didn't get to hear Ordinary Man. Now, if I had to think, all my friends in my circle of friends, name an Alice Cooper fan that you know. It's always going to be me because I'm a massive, massive Alice Cooper fan. Ozzy's only second to Alice, and so they're my two favorites, Sabbath and Alice. And uh, and he didn't get to hear it. Now here's the second one he won't get to hear, which I'm wrong. He had Jesus in his heart, so I believe he will be in heaven. I believe from heaven we can view what's going on earth and stuff, and maybe he can jam out to Ozzy. Ozzy's on this album's gotten a little more controversial than on Ordinary Man. I didn't like the name of Ordinary Man. I much prefer Patient Number 9. That sounds more metal to me. But Ordinary Man, it was a song on the album. I could see why he wrote it. He sung it with Elton John. Elton lost his voice years ago, but he threw him in there anyway. And I never liked Elton John. I could have lived without him. But they're fellow Brits, so I can see why they love each other. And I know they're close friends in life. But this album, that album was the template of what this album came more to fruition with. There's much more retro Ozzy. The first two albums can be heard on and off throughout this Patient Number 9, where Ordinary Man had maybe 3 songs that harken back to that early 80s sound. And, that's the sound I wanted from Scream and never got it at all. That was like, even Ozzy was trying to sing more deep and more heavy metal, and it was off. But this album, yeah, I mean, you got a lot more guest artists on this release. Eric Clapton's on one of those days, and Eric Clapton wanted to, he heard later that Ozzy, was going to, use a song to doubt the existence of Jesus Christ and his lyrics. Just one of those days I don't believe in Jesus, and I got friends who are consider themselves Christian or Catholic, and they always question Jesus as well, from time to time, because they let their cynicism take over their faith. And Ozzy, I think, has been plagued with this, this idea, or maybe these demons that may always make you question the existence of Jesus. I spent the vast majority of my life as an agnostic, not believing in Jesus, and only at 47, now 51, I'm a Christian. So, and why does it make sense to me now? Because he makes himself known to you if you ask to see more than a card trick. He'll make himself known. But in any case, I'm getting off topic here. So Patient Number 9. Here we go. That's a rocker. It starts off with Ozzy's in a hospital, and he's, I want to get out of here. Is there any way out of here? Lots of insane laughter. Then we get into, the song's a great rocker, intense solos, different solos from different artists from almost every song. And this was not so much classic Ozzy, but there's elements of it in there. It's almost like a more modern sound for Ozzy, but still very metal. I find Ozzy metal to be pasteurized and, overproduced, of course, but certainly, and with this producer, I don't think he's actually a metalhead. The guy who's got, very responsible for Ordinary Man and Patient Number 9. Young guy, he's more of a producer, doesn't come from a metal background, but loves Ozzy because even if you're not a metalhead, Ozzy's like such upper crust metal that, he, everybody's attracted to him, even outside of metal. So they get hooked up, and this guy finally figured out that his fan base wants the old Ozzy because I was saying Ordinary Man was going to be Ozzy's last album. And I thought how ironic when the album came out days after my Ozzy fan friend died in New Jersey. Well, I was living in Florida, and then he comes out with another, even after a major surgery. He's practically a complete cripple compared to Alice, who's still all over the stage today. And they were both born in 1948, and Alice is kicking ass. He's been much more prolific with studio releases over the years. But when Ozzy drops something, it's just, it's like a holiday the world recognizes or something. He takes a bigger stomp down on the world than when Alice drops a studio album. Unfortunately, because I love Alice more. But I recognize that Ozzy's definitely more popular. But I prefer the underdog. So there's that song. Then you got, what do you got, kid? I'm trying to tell you what you got, but you won't listen, will you? You'll never listen till it's too late. Now you're going to listen. Now you're going to listen, but good. All right. So next track we got Immortal. Starts with a nice, strong, rolling bass line. Gets right into it, baby. Gets right to business. I'd snap my finger to it, but you'd never hear it anyway. So you got that. It's all about oh, right here. So here he is. Do I look like King Diamond? Check out my band's Graveside Service, Vintage Flesh, and Inverticrux, where I'm the vocalist in all those bands and the drummer in Vintage Flesh, as well as vocalist. And a lot of people have compared my vocals to King Diamond. I can really hit his notes, and that's not exaggerating. That's not bragging. But it hasn't helped me any. I'm poor where King Diamond's rich. So, it's not like I'm saying, recognize me now. I'm 51. I can still make it. No, the dream is past. But, but check me out if you like King Diamond vocals. Anyway, now you got Parasite. Some people have considered me a parasite at times, and at times I was. But not since I found Jesus, kids. Just not since I found the good Lord in heaven, making a better man out of me by the day. Now check this one out. This is track 3, Parasite. Pumping me, pumping on me. Yeah. Now, first thing that comes to mind with these tracks is you hear a lot of Ozzy. I mean, there's hardly room for just instrumental music, even moments where he's not singing lyrics, he's throwing in a yeah or yay or oh or uh-huh or just anything. He's like, it's almost, obviously, they're, the witches are getting excited. Honey, I'll be right back. I got to tell these people about the new Ozzy album, the new Net Lacrimosa. We'll give you lots of good reason to laugh when I drop my pants. Only kidding. But, in any case, they're just, it's a wash with Ozzy vocals. And, he sounds great. I think he sounds better now. He puts more effort into it than he did on the first 3 albums, which I consider, better albums. They're just, but Ozzy's just like, first track's good enough. Let's get out of here and party, Where here you could just tell they probably did all the track. He recorded it at home the last 2 albums, so he could go take a nap between the next line and stuff. He's very old and fragile, and I'm sure it took forever to get him to get down all these tracks. But just knowing he could do it at all, I'd be totally patient with him too, because his vocals sound great. And I'm sure studio magic's there and stuff, but there's just something so unique about his pipes that you can't find in any other voice. That there's something precious that when he's gone, it's gone. You know that when you go to see a Black Sabbath or Ozzy tribute band, most of these guys playing Ozzy don't sound like Ozzy, because he's got like one of a kind vocals. Very rarely have I heard a guy, well, if he sings in that tone only, he sounds a little like Ozzy. But, it's never like the full, once Ozzy's gone, that's it. All we got is the albums. But, hey, I told you, just give me a few minutes. We're talking about Ozzy here. You want to come in here? Oh, keep your clothes on. Don't get too excited. Because, when they say it's colder than a witch's tit in here, she ain't kidding, baby. Let me tell you about it. Well, anyways, No Escape From Now. Let's do that track, shall we? And just gonna, I'm not gonna go through the whole album because No Escape From Now. Don't quite know what the lyrics are about. He's dealing a lot with his mortality in all these songs, and in Ordinary Man too. Just deep and broody. Of course, then the song really kicks in, but boom, 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 boom. You already know where it's going. I've listened to this so many times. Hey, you, quiet down back there. I'm doing a review show over here. Anyway, so we got the One of These Days. That's the Eric Clapton tune. Eric Clapton, I used to call him, because I don't really like Clapton's guitar. He's obviously brilliant, but it's not the guitar style I like. He's mostly blues based. But I like his politics. I do like Cream. So this is the Ozzy Eric Clapton. That's Eric Clapton right there. He's crapping all over Ozzy's music. And that's whoever. That's probably that guy who saved Ozzy's studio career. So there's that one. I'm liking that. I can't. I do feel dirty when it says. One of those days I don't believe in Jesus. I find myself singing along saying, I do believe in Jesus, because those are the days you need most to believe in Jesus when you don't believe in Jesus. Just stop your doubt. That is demonic influence right there. They don't want you to believe in Jesus, because there's such power in believing in Jesus. Such power you could draw into this world from Jesus to protect you from such demons. And such fools, people I love, get caught up in the doubt, But in any case, One of These Days, 1,000 Shades. Now, this reminds me of, I don't know, it's like a goth rock tune. Check it out. 1,000 Shades is the name of the yesterday. It's just so. It's like Ozzy acting like Ozzy. Like they got Ozzy exaggerating everything that's great about Ozzy. And he's accentuating what we love about his vocals. In every track, I also notice, So there's that one. That's kind of a. You can't say, oh wow, that's going to be a slow song from Ozzy, because it usually eventually kicks in, and that's another one that does. So far, I love everything I've heard. from the first time I heard it. It's not like that had to grow on me. I was sold from day one. So that's 1,000 Shades. Mr. Darkness, I take personally because it seems to be speaking to a few of my own personal issues in life. This is Mr. Darkness. You can see another somber, moody, spooky tune. This one's dealing with obsession with dark things. As you see around me, I have this fucking problem. He's speaking to me in this song, very specific. Those like Darkness, I write you again. I'm really so lonely, in need of a friend. Everyone tells me you'll never reply, but I still try. Now there's a line right here. My walls are covered with pictures of you. I fantasize that you're here with me in my room. Most days I wake up just wanting to die, but I still try. And that's it. Every day I do. I wake up, I pray God. I pray to die in my sleep every night. But if anyone knows about me, I'm suicidally depressed. I'm always depressed. Every day is a miracle that I make it through. But that's like people who suffer migraines. You just can't tell them, oh, why can't you just stop having a migraine? They think more people understand that than why are you so miserable? Why can't you just embrace life and think more positively? It's not that easy, But we don't want to get into that. But this song speaks to my heart in that way. Hey, you put them cold breasties away. I don't need to see that. You're distracting me. I'm trying to do my show. We can take care of that business later. But in any case, and I've been feeling recently this whole man cave that I built in my house, my apartment, is it's a big apartment, so I consider it a house. But this man cave I put aside, if you could look all the way around it, it's all metal heroes it's just all metal, mostly Alice, of course. But up top, I got Saint Michael fighting a demon up on the wall. I got my crucifixes around. But ultimately, I feel, I'm just surrounded. I sleep in this room sometimes, and I'm just surrounded in darkness, And dear Mr. Darkness, I just have this obsession with darkness. Even as a Christian, I'm still a taphophile. I still desire to hang out in cemeteries, especially old, creepy Victorian ones. Hey, honey, I love you too. I put a bang zoom right up the wazoo. Wow, let me tell you about it, baby. I can tell you all about it. But I'm going into my own life here.